So I want to talk about democracy and the future of democracy and whether we actually have a democracy to begin with. Yes, we do have a democracy. The reason why we have a democracy is because anyone who wants to be in power or stay in power or have any kind of degree of power whatsoever or sway over others needs to have some kind of permission to do so. That's why we're seeing all these great technocratic wars for the hearts and minds of the people. It's one big old marketing campaign running its course on all your social medias, your television sets, and everywhere else. So, yes, we are in a democracy. Now let's talk about the more bureaucratic sense of democracy that all these highly developed nations are claiming to have. Maybe not so much. I feel I live on the better spectrum of countries hoping to have a democracy. I live in the Netherlands, and I don't think there's a lot of cheating going on with the votes. I do believe there's some degree of a fair play there. There's a lot of human rights protections. So I think when we're looking at a democracy, that's the first question. How well are human rights really being protected, if at all? So, on some degree, yes, we do have a democracy. Now, looking at nations where there's a danger of losing the democracy, we can look at America. America has really been going through the ringer lately. And I am an American, actually, by descent. Even though I haven't really lived in America, I still feel like an American. And boy, have I been upset looking at everything that's been going on. And I've been like, oh, God, it's just a disgrace what's happening to the country. I literally feel like I'm watching America burn, and it's just a terrible thing. So let's look at the voter system in America. Now, Dominion caught a whole bunch of flack. These are the ones making the voter machines. But you know what? They really withstood scrutiny. Their machines are just fine. There's nothing wrong. There's no fraud. It's not hackable. These conspiracies were completely whacked out and unreliable. So the voting machines are okay. But here comes the real conundrum, and that's not the machines. It's the ballots. The ballots. What is a voter ballot? It's a piece of paper that just got printed out. It doesn't have any water branding or any kind of protection or any kind of anti-fraud mechanisms. People could literally just print them out, use a Sharpie to tack on the other candidate. It opens the door to mass fraud. It would be complicated to do such a fraud, but very possible. So these ballots are not reliable. And as long as, in general, nations are relying on these ballots, paper, Sharpies, whatever, this is never going to be a legit system. How many countries in the world claiming to be a democracy have completely worked over voting ballots and systems like that? We really don't know. And do we want to know? I don't know. So that's the main thing. No. Now, this is where it opens the door to real thought. What would actually be a way that we can substantiate real votes, that a real person voted for this candidate, and make it actually work? That's very difficult. I mean, I could make a video of who I voted for and I could publish it somewhere. Or there could be some trace of the publication which would confirm who I voted for. Or you could do like fingerprint scanning, but then that also seems to be a little fraud sensitive with the technology out there. We could go really scary. People would have to give a drop of blood to vote. There'd be a DNA check to kind of substantiate someone's vote. But then a lot of privacies there would be surrendered. How are we going to fix this? How are we going to gain true democracy? What's most important is that we understand that we don't have something right now that is reliable or substantiated enough to classify a vote. We don't have it. And a vote is a very important thing. Now, Another and final thought in the whole voting thing is, we're not just voting for politicians anymore. We're also voting for billionaires. You may have noticed that billionaires or these very, very rich people seem to be deciding an awful lot. They almost seem to be their own little country in throwing in their little 2 cents in what's going to happen in the world and which agendas are going to be pushed successfully or not. So we're also voting for billionaires now. And what some people may not know is that a lot of billionaires have an army of publicists to protect them from all the bad press that they're getting. There may have been a period a long time ago, before we knew him better, where people were absolutely just desperately in love with Elon. When he brought out his electric vehicle and there were some good cute little videos of him online and everything, oh my God, it was like this good person who's a billionaire had come through and had broken through and was going to save the world. I think a lot of people viewed it that way. Now we may be a little more skeptical. And I can tell you the way that good press came out there, he had a very good publicist. I can also tell you a billionaire who doesn't have a publicist, Warren Buffett. And that's actually one of the billionaires that I think is a really good billionaire, because he doesn't need an army of people to convince other people that he's okay. He's not involved in all kinds of shady dealings with creepy technology that could somehow subvert and just derange everything. He's not involved in that. He did it clean by buying, selling, investing. He's not one of those crypto billionaires or anything. So that tells you something. When someone doesn't have all these massive protections in place to protect their reputation, they may not have to do it because they're just not pieces of crap. So they don't need that to get by. Okay, so as far as we go now, I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you are going to think really hard about how democratically involved you are. And maybe this has opened your point of view to understand how many different aspects of our lives right now are democratic. Okay, see you around.